Archimedes and I today went for a walk. Well, I say walk, for a run. The intention was to run, but we ended up walking. Well, at least I did. My heart just felt like it will give up on its life and it will stop working. But not only that, it felt like it wasn't able to provide enough blood throughout my body to move. I feel like all my veins are filled with fat and filled with all the crap things that I've been eating throughout the lockdown. Just to put a bit of context, me and Archimedes used to go to the gym at least 4 to 5 times a week. We used to work out and track our calories and everything. And from that, we went to almost doing nothing throughout lockdown because there is a lockdown and we couldn't exercise much. I mean, I've done some videos, I followed some videos, but still, it wasn't a thing. We aimed to run almost 5k, but I only ended up doing 1.5 and then walked the rest. So I guess it will be a work in progress in that regard as well, hoping that for the next few weeks before lockdown goes off, we get to train our veins or clear off our veins from all that fat. Benvenuti su 5 Minute Thoughts, Coconut here. In today's audio log, I'm going to talk about numbers. We tried to talk about it yesterday, however, it just didn't go on for that long and we ended up talking about different things. Now, I have this deep feeling with numbers or deep connection with numbers. As an engineer, before leading up to engineering, always have been a number-oriented person. But as I get older, I realize that I feel like I've been putting too much significance to the numbers. For example, why do numbers affect our emotions? And why do numbers affect our decision? Of course, in certain critical things, we do need numbers. For example, if a doctor is giving a particular drug to a patient, of course he or she needs to know a particular amount of drug that needs to be given. If not, there will be consequences. But I'm talking more about in the sense of feeling better, in the sense of feeling confirmed. Like on social media, when we post something, some of us are very fixated with these numbers. Just to reiterate, some of us, not all of us. I could feel, or I know that at certain stage in my childhood, not childhood only, on teenage life, I used to look constantly on how many people have viewed it, how many people have liked it, how many people have shared, comment on it. But more and more, I realized that I don't really care about what those people were thinking. Most of them I didn't know. Most of them wouldn't affect my life. So I don't get why they're adding to a bigger number to the total amount of likes my post has would affect my feeling. Because with numbers I have a deep connection, let me read you a passage. This is from the book called Il Saggiatore by Galileo Galilei, or translated in English is The Essayer. It was addressed to the Pope in 1623 I guess it was more of like a rebellious letter. I would suggest read into it more in depth. Now, the passage that I wanted to read is this. Signor Sarsi, la cosa non sta così. La filosofia è scritta in questo grandissimo libro che continuamente ci sta aperto innanzi gli occhi. Io dico l'universo. Ma non si può intendere se prima non si impara a intendere la lingua e conoscere i caratteri, nei quali è scritto. Egli è scritto in lingua matematica e i caratteri sono triangoli, cerchi ed altre figure geometriche, senza i quali mezzi è impossibile a intendere umanamente parola. Senza questi è un aggirarsi vanamente per un oscuro labirinto. Now, this loosely translates to the universe cannot be read until we have learned the language and become familiar with the characters in which it is written. It is written in mathematical language, and the letters are triangles, circles, and other geometrical figures, without which means it is humanly impossible to comprehend a single word. Now, this can be interpreted in many things, but the way I interpreted was the nature is written in the language of mathematics. I believe in that, okay? I understand certain things follow particular mathematical processes, particular mathematical sequences and equations can be used to describe certain behaviors. And I sometimes also think that God's language to communicate with us was through mathematics, although people need to understand mathematics is actually a made-up language. It's not only a subject that he used to do sciencey things, but it is actually a language to communicate or to translate the behavior of the world around us with the common language that every human would understand if the rules and knowledge are known. So I believe the most understood language in the world should be mathematics and not other human spoken languages. However, where I feel like this starts separating from my thoughts and process is sometimes we give too much meaning to numbers, in the sense of we feel like if we achieve that particular number, we would feel great, we would achieve something great. Let's talk about it a bit more in detail. Let's say I'm a company. Usually in companies, they set a lot of arbitrary numbers. They set off a lot of goals just to achieve them, to keep their records nice. They don't really emphasize on the emotions and the feelings of the people that are working in it. For example, let's say we have a group A and a group B working on the same project. You would see that, let's say, group A doesn't really have a team leader, has a boss. They are not psychologically or emotionally happy. Their returns or their findings or their output is all over the place. Some months is very good, some months is very bad. But there is no steadiness or steady growth. Group B is very happy. There is a real team leader who's bringing everyone together. Everyone is happy on the project that they are working, and everyone is fully participating and giving their best. They are improving every month steadily, but in a slower rate, right? It is improving steadily. Imagine like a straight graph, straight line that has a positive slope. It is just increasing. Whereas the other group A has more of a sine curve, very ups and very downs. Okay? Now let's say at the end of the year, the management chooses to have a particular number of revenue that they want to achieve. If group A magically or by chance, by luck, it's one of their luck times, or it's one of their moments of luck, and their output matches the revenue they wanted, they will be promoted, they will be made feel special, they'll be given a lot of credits. Although they are not very emotionally happy with the things that they're doing, very likely they'll fall apart. Very likely they will not won't have each other's back. Whereas Group B have probably missed it just by a little tiny bit, but they always had a steady growth, steady positive growth. But they won't be given any credits, they won't be celebrated. Why? Because they couldn't meet this arbitrary number that has been chosen. That's one scenario. The other scenario is, as I already explained, is when someone posts something and hoping to receive a particular amount of numbers of likes to feel like they're doing well, like they have their importance. I don't think emotions should be based on this type of numbers. However, numbers are required. For example, now it is becoming more and more a big thing, data science, where many industries are starting to take all their collected data and start predicting what would happen and see how they can improve. Now, if it's a company badly managed, then they will take this data, set them as arbitrary, and they'll punish if these numbers are not met. Whereas a good company would check this data, will have a prediction, and they will help extra to achieve those goals if they're not met. And they will investigate why it is not working out. So that's where the difference is on having these numbers. One is using it as a guidance. The other one is using it as solely a arbitrary number to achieve and let your emotions be based on it. Let's say you're an artist, you're a content creator, and you post your pictures online, right? Instead of looking at a bad example, at least on my opinion, would be someone who's posting this beautiful piece of art, but because of the algorithm and blah blah blah, it didn't reach to that particular niche of audience, there won't be probably a lot of likes, and they will feel bad because they were hoping to get a lot of likes, and they were hoping, or they were basing it on these numbers to feel themselves better, to make them feel like they have a relevance. Whereas I believe the right thing should be, let's say, instead of just leaving there for likes, say something. Put a like if you like this particular thing. Then you'd know that these people that have put like, they like this particular thing about your piece of art that you have shared on the platform. Or use it as a guidance. Let's say you want to have 100 likes and you only got 50. You want to achieve those likes and have more dose of audience engagement, then learn what would make your art more marketable, more profitable. I would say use it more as a line, or as a as a way to guide yourself, rather than basing your emotions or basing your value and worth on it. I don't know if it made sense. I think I should have said this at the beginning. If you got lost all this way, here's the summary, at least for me. Use numbers as guidance. Don't use numbers as how much you're worth. I know in day-to-day, today's society tends to celebrate people that have a lot of money and not necessarily celebrate people that are happy. It's purely because numbers is something that can be shown. It's something that everyone can be measured upon. However, happiness is not something that can be measured on everyone's the same way, on the same parameter. I think the number should be used as a guidance for something. For example, for me and Archimedes is be able to run 5k. Now, because I wasn't able to run 5k today, doesn't mean that I'm feeling bad about it. It's about, okay, what went wrong for me? It's simple. I ate like a cow, many stuff. Now I have a lot of fat stored in me, and it is not fair that since October I wasn't able to work out 4 to 5 days a week and expect to receive peak performance out of my body. Anywho, I hope I have not confused you. Have a wonderful day.